Coming to the retreat, did you have any expectations?
Well, obviously you come because you hope to resolve something, the I don't know what's, or something very specific. And I think we don't know what to expect, which is probably a good thing. And having experienced, this is like my third or fourth one now, so every single time is different. It's always happy, because what you learn from others gives you probably as much to work with as well as your own experience in it. The hardest part is coughing up what needs to come out. And that's something we don't know how it's going to go. So the surprise and the miraculous aspect of this type of teaching is that Darya and Alex have just a way of moving the energy, placing the strengths with the weaknesses so we can look at what it looks like. We get an actualization of a play out. You know, we're playing that role modeling, and it just, you see it like, and the beautiful thing is when you pick a partner or you pick somebody to play you, you're actually watching and they get something from it as much as you do. And it's just a systematic, beautiful feeling, because you walk out with this release. So I didn't know what to expect. I keep thinking, how am I going to address stuff that's kind of buried, that I don't think affects me? But then you see it quite quickly. And sometimes it's harder to get it out, depending on how well you are at hiding things or suppressing things. And then other people are just coughing it up, you know. It needs to come out. They're ready. But you need someone to kind of help you pull it out. And it is amazing, really. So I've really enjoyed this process, yeah.
What kind of impact has the retreat made on you?
Well, I, of course, always think I'm the same, and, you know, I just was always like this. The people all around me are commenting on how I listen, how I react, how I resolve issues, which I always thought, you know, since little I was really good at mediating and helping and fixing, and, you know. But you start to differentiate what is your responsibility and what is somebody else's to themselves. So there's a point of interfering with that process or staying in tandem with. Problem is, then we go back to our real lives, and of course, maybe if the other person doesn't know how to do that, you're just talking to the wall again. But what tends to shift is when you bring down the boil, and we know how to do that now. So it does cause a different response in somebody else than the, you know. But as you can see in the last exercise, sometimes that anger needs to come out, or just to be heard needs to come out, or a forgiveness where you don't think anyone has forgiven. Sometimes when we role play that in our minds, we're getting to see that we can resolve a lot in ourselves without having to involve the whole world. But until we've done that for ourselves, we are affected by others' behaviors, thoughts, judgments, criticisms, and so on.
What would you say to someone who was thinking about going?
Well, I think once you acknowledge that there's some things you don't know, it's just an opportunity to learn something. And you can participate, not participate, but the most you get out of it is by being an active participant, learning some tools, and then watching very effortlessly kind of what happens when we are involved in our own lives. Half of us are just playing roles. We've got the blinders on, and we're not really the drivers of our own ship, you know, or captains of our own ship. So there's a point when you become the CEO of your own company, and then there's a point when you just stay as the mailman because it's comfortable. It's very easy, know when you're coming to work, you know. It's the same way we show up in relationship. So this is something where whether you think you need it, don't need it, at least you can learn some new tools. And that would help in your, it expands the understanding, it's so healing, and it changes the vibration of yourself in relation to your family, in relation to the world. So that can only be good. So I think it's a great gift to give oneself.
Thank you.